Good morning, everyone. This is Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am popping on this morning with my regular Wednesday morning Facebook Live, and I just wanted to go over a few things with you guys. I am using a new system called StreamYard, and so the first time that you join me and are going to pop on and say hi, leave a comment or whatever, you just need to give StreamYard permission to do that. Otherwise, I don't see your name pop up in my comments. It just pops up as anonymous comments. And once you've done that, it's kind of done for life, and you're good to go on all Facebook platforms using the StreamYard. So hopefully my volume is set correctly. I'm still trying to kind of figure out how to get my volume set so you guys can hear me without an echo and it's loud enough and everything. So if you're watching and want to leave a comment about the sound, that would be great. I'm also actually on a few minutes early because I haven't been having tech problems getting on, which is such a nice thing. Hi, Julie. So today I'm going to be creating a card using some older product, my favorite, Nothing's Better Than stamp set, some newer product, the Give It a Whirl dies, and some brand new, not released yet, designer series paper from our upcoming Sale-a-bration. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop and start showing you those items, and we'll start creating. Let's see here. There we go. So there is my desktop, and you can see, hi Marika. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad it got to you. That was quick. So you can see here some brand new designer series paper. I can't even get over how much paper is in this pack. 48 sheets, and I've kind of laid them out, two showing of each of the sides. And you can see there's some nice lighter colors, some brighter colors, lots of rainbows happening. And this actually coordinates with one of our new stamp sets coming out in our January to June mini catalog as well. I'm just playing with the designer series paper today, though. So I'm going to move this all out of the way. And so you can see this is one of our amazing freebies that you can earn. With a $60 purchase, you can grab this stack of designer series paper for free, starting in January 4th. So start putting together your wish lists. I know that I'm going to need more than one pack of this paper for sure. So the dies that we're using today are the Give It a Whirl dies, and these are actually featured in our catalog, page 57. And you know, it's a die set that kind of escaped me at first because it's with all these cute little kid cards, like kid stamp ideas. And I don't really have kids of that age in my life anymore. We're all at the teen stage right now. So I kind of had overlooked it. But then I was kind of looking around at what's going on here and realized that I could make some great adult cards with that Give It a Whirl die set. And we also have our round and square brads back in our catalog. Now, I have some, and I cannot find them anywhere in my room. It's such a disaster right now. So I'm just grabbing some old brads that I had lying around from years ago and going to use those, and those work just as well. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be creating with. And then I'm pairing it up with Nothing's Better Than, one of my favorite stamp sets from our annual catalog, because honestly, I think those are four of my favorite things on the planet right there. I've had far too many of all of them in the last week. So we're going to get started creating. Now, this card could just be for a great friend. It could be a Valentine's Day card. It's totally up to you. So we're going to start. I've got a card base. Mine's Crumb Cake, and it's just a standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I've grabbed a piece of designer series paper, and this is from that new, I'm going to forget the name of it again. What's it called? Sunshine and Rainbows. That should be easy to remember. This is from the new Sunshine and Rainbows pack, and it's cut at 4 by 5 and probably 7/8. The important part is to cut it down at the 4 so that you don't waste any of it. So that left me with a 2-inch strip I can use for something else. And I'm going to go in here and pop in our die. So this is the beginning piece that's going to create the front of our card where we can wheel our selections through on that Give It a Whirl spinner that we're going to create. So I am going to have to bring in my big boss because this guy's just a bit too big for a mini one. So I'm going to try and do all of my die cutting right here at the beginning because it's not that exciting for you guys. And but I wanted to actually do it with you so that you could see kind of the process, because the first time I got my dies and I started to play with them, I'm like, okay, exactly how does this work? You know, I see the concept of what we're trying to achieve, but how do I get there? It's not hard, but I did have to think it through. Oops. So first step is to cut out that front panel. There we go. And then we are going to take our front panel again. We're going to take the die off of it. And so I've got that little thin layer I can discard. So actually I'm going to move my machine out of the way for a second because I want to show you all the options. I was so shocked at all of the options, you guys. So now that I've got this cut, I've got the nice stitching, the little slot where we're going to put our wheel in. I've got the hole in the middle, which is brilliant. So I've got that little hole there so I can put my brad through and create my spinner. But I don't have a window. So that's our next step, is to create a window. And at first I just kind of had looked at the catalog and went, oh, well, of course, that's the window. But it's not. I can create multiple heart windows. So I could put that there and have things come through showing in the heart. I could put this here and have things showing through the circle. Like, I have so many little options. Of course, this one fits perfectly with the spinner. So I can do that. There's also a rectangle. So I could die cut with the rectangle there. The other cool thing is I can choose where I'm going to position this. Maybe I want it directly across. Maybe I want, so in the case of the card that I'm going to be creating, I'm going to put it down low because I wanted to put some hearts and stuff up above. So I can put it down low. So you can be really creative. Oh, hi, Gail. Merry Christmas. You can be really creative on where you position the shape that you are using as your kind of viewing window as you spin things around. But what I love is that by putting that little circle in position over top of the circle on your base, you're guaranteed you're going to line it up so that it ends up in the right spot, that as you spin your wheel, the images will actually show. I guess you could also go really crazy and actually, you know, cut more than one so you could have all of your images showing at the same time. I'm not going there. I'm going to keep it simple today, and I am going to use this one because the images I want to show off need this bigger space. In fact, I couldn't use my cocktails because, well, the spinner only has 3 spots, and the cocktails were too big to fit in here no matter how I turned them. So that's okay. Cookies, coffee, and chocolate will do. So to get started on this card, I am going to run this through one more time. So I'm going to run this, let's see, I want it just kind of off to the side. So I'm lining up my dots and we're going to run it through like that so that it cuts out my shape right there. So I got to grab that machine again. Here we go. Pop that down. So you want to just make sure that those circles are lined up and that you've got that in the spot where you want the hole to be. And like I said, you've got lots of choices around that. You can make this card in many, many ways. Okay, too many things on my desk. There we go. So I've now cut that out, and I've got the great little spot on my card. And I also have this kind of little fun piece left over. I haven't decided what to do with these yet, but I'm going to figure something out. They've got to be good for something. So I've got that piece now. While I've got this big machine here, I am going to run a few more things through. I've got a little scrap of Poppy Parade paper, and I'm going to run the 2 smallest hearts through on this, and I just love them because they have stitching around the edge. I am also going to run through the banner, because there's a banner die in this one. I love it. And I'm going to run through the circle die that's meant to line up, but I'm just running it through to get the circle. I'm not worried about the rest of it. So we're going to run those through right now, and then we still have to run through our big wheel as well. So run that through. There we go. And I'm going to put the hearts through a second time. When I put my spinner wheel through, I'm going to run through the hearts because I actually want 5 hearts in total. So I'm going to do this a few times. Get the boring stuff out of the way here, guys. All right, so we've got a really nice banner and circle now created. We'll put those to the side for later. We're going to do 2 more hearts, and I need a slightly larger piece. It's 3, I believe 3 3/4. Uh-oh, what happened? 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 is what I did. And that's to run through our large spinner. All right, so pop that on there. So large spinner and a few more hearts. There we go. Oops, my spinner just slid. And it's not on the paper anymore. No good. So if you're having a lot of trouble with things sliding on you, you can always use washi tape to hold them in place. This one's actually not bad. It doesn't slip too much. I bumped my whole machine. So there we go. And we're going to do 1 more die cut. I'm just going to grab 1 more little heart here and pop that out. Now I love this set because it comes with the hearts, the stars, the clouds, like so many cute little embellishments and stuff. All right, put that to the side, put our hearts to the side, and 1 more baby heart. Just the tiniest one. Okay, once we've got this done, we get to start building our card. And that is the fun part. I had a lot of fun kind of going through and picking out items and deciding what to put on this, because of course you get lots of choices when you're making a spinner card. All right, let's put this to the side. Okay. So now that we have all of our bits, I'll bring the spinner in, and I'm going to show you that when we die cut it, hopefully you guys can see this, when we die cut it, it left the faintest impression. Can I get the right angle? Maybe not. Just very, very ever so slightly on here, you can actually see where the spinner shape needs to go, so that you can actually space these out nicely, so that when you spin them, they end up kind of in the viewing space that you want them in. So this is our first step, is to actually start stamping on our spinner. So I've just brought my mat in here. Hi, Jacqueline. Just brought my my piercing mat in because it just gives me a little bit of firmness to stamp on, so that I don't kind of get funky patterns in the background, because my desktop is old and not the best. So I'm going to start with some Memento black ink and some of my favorite things from our Nothing's Better Than stamp set. So start with coffee. Would not be a morning without coffee. And so I've lined this up so that I can see the little triangle there, and I've put this down as low as I possibly can, because I also wanted space to be able to put my little steam, because I'm not one of these cold coffee drinkers. My coffee needs to be hot. Thank you. Then I'm going to twist this around and stamp my cookie there. especially this time of year, all the delicious cookies. So good. All right. And then I'm going to spin this around one more time and stamp some chocolates. We have had so many lovely chocolates brought over. My parents brought some Belgian chocolates, and I was lucky enough to receive some delicious ones from students. There we go. Oh, that didn't quite work out. So now, if you flub it like that, like I just did, you can always grab a Stampin' Right marker. And we actually sell our black ones separately. I keep mine in my neutrals case though. And you can come on in here and just fix that up. There we go. So not the end of the world. All right, so now that we've got these done, I can close up my ink. I don't need to make a mess with that. And I'm going to start adding some color to this. Hi, Tracy. Good morning. Oh, Judy. Hi, nice to see you. This is like the most lovely Christmas card, or, you know, card for a friend or a Valentine's card. It's all my favorite things. So the next thing I'm going to do is start adding some color to this. I'm actually going to start with some really quick and easy color. I got some Coastal Cabana, and this set comes with this coolest little retro star. I don't know. So I'm just going to pop a few of these around my favorite things. Even around my coffee mug, even though he already has a few on the mug. I'm going to pop those in there, and I'm just staying within the little outline that I can see. So I'm not going to be outside of my viewing area. All right, so with those done, now I'm going to do some quick coloring on these, and it really is some quick coloring. I'm going to grab my soft suede blends, my crumb cake blends, and my Poppy Parade blends. And we're going to add a little bit of color here. Actually, I'm not even sure I need my crumb cake ones. Actually, now that I think about that, we'll see. We'll start with the soft suede and see what happens. So all of our blends come in a light and a dark. So I'm going to start with my light soft suede and see what color that gives me. Oh yeah, that one's actually light enough. Perfect. So I'm going to use my light soft suede to color my chocolates and my cookie. And so I'm just going to go around here quickly, and I am going to use the dark, so we don't even need the crumb cake. It's just soft suede and Poppy Parade. So I am going to come in and just really quickly do this. There we go. I'm going to quickly color my chocolates as well, and then I'm going to come back into my chocolates and add a little bit of dark. So what I love about these Stampin' blends is they don't leave streaks. They blend. Oh, hi, Lila. Good morning. So yeah, these guys are great because they blend. They do all the hard work for me. And now for my chocolates, I like a little bit of dark chocolate here. So I'm going to add in some darkness around the outside. I'm not going to do this to my cookie though. I don't like my cookies burnt. There we go. And this one, I'm just going to do it on the swirl. There we go. So those are looking pretty delicious. Should have brought down some to munch on while I stamp. Now, my mug, I am going to, oops, wrong end. There's two ends on our blends. There's a paintbrush end and a finer tipped end. So I'm just going to do that, the light right like that. And then I'm going to come in and do my dark for the real color on my mug. I actually have done a sample where I did it reverse because I thought, oh, the insides will be the darker, more shaded parts, but I didn't think that the cup looked vibrant enough. So we're going to go against shading rules and do what is aesthetically pleasing to me. There we go. So we've got that all colored in, so our wheel is ready to go. We're going to now grab our front piece and we're going to line up those circles, And like I said, we carry the round and square brads now in like black and white. There might be one other color in there, but I can't find mine. So I'm going to grab my brads. Now I'm actually going to grab the gold one because it's the one I would use the least, and it's going to get covered up on this card, so I don't actually care what my brad looks like. So if you've got like some funky fluorescent green brad laying around going, oh, I'm never going to use this, this is the card for you to use it on. So now we have our spinner created. Isn't that sweet? So these guys just flow through and you can see all of your favorite things. The way we're going to attach this to our card front is we're going to flip it over and we're going to use a lot of dimensionals. And it is kind of important that you use dimensionals because that's going to keep this from touching your card base and allow just a much smoother spin of the wheel. So I'm going to start with my 4 corners, but then I'm going to come in and as close as I can, actually, I'm going to do that one there and that one there, and I'm going to pop it up there. I like to keep it popped up all the way around, but then I'm actually going to grab some minis as well. Oh, I had a whole stack. Where'd they go? That's so funny. I always grab the minis when I want the big ones, and now that I actually need minis, I can't find mine anywhere. That is so weird. Oh, there they are. All right, so I'm going to put some minis in as close as I can. So you just want to make sure it's not touching your wheel, but you want it in as close as you can get it where it's not going to interfere with your wheel on all 4 sides. I just find that makes it easier for you to actually get your finger in to spin that wheel. And I'm going to do one up at the top as well. Might as well do one down here. So if you're watching Janine, stop laughing, because I always say that I love dimensionals, and this card is a little excessive with them. Now, the key here is don't put any of them where this wheel is going to bump them. So we want a clear path for that wheel to move. And then we can just start peeling these all, peeling these all off. I know some people like to use their take a pick tool to do this. I don't know why I find this is actually pretty easy with just my regular fingernails. So I'm going to peel all those off and layer this right onto our crumb cake card base. There we go. So let's grab that base. And this is the hardest part for me, is to center this because I can't wiggle it. It's not liquid glue. There we go. So that's on there. And yay, our wheel works. Okay, so I'll pop that on like that. Now we need to start decorating the front of this and getting some sentiments going. So that's where the banner and the circle that I punched out come into play. I'm going to grab some soft suede ink. Oh, hi, Cindy. Oh, you're never late. It's never too late to join the party. We are just creating with the Nothing's Better stamp set and playing around with some coffee, chocolates, and cookies because that's what everybody needs this week. All right, so I just stamped in soft suede. I stamped "You make everything better," but the first half of that sentence goes on our banner. It says, "You're just like." So there we go. And I couldn't choose just one thing. It's all of the things. You're just like coffee, cookies, and chocolate. You make everything better. Now I am going to put a few more little Coastal Cabana stars on our circle. Oh, thank you, Judy. Yeah, I love Coastal Cabana pool party. And then the poppy parade with the crumb cake. It just, I don't know. It's a little bit retro, but I like it. So here we go. So we've got our little sentiments created. We're going to pop these on with dimensionals because that's what I do. But before we do, I'm going to grab, so I had cut out the 2 smaller sized hearts. There's actually 1 larger heart as well in this die set. So these are the 2 smaller ones. I'm going to choose, I guess, what would be the medium heart, but it's the large one from what I've created. And I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on there, one on each side of the heart. And I'm going to use that heart to cover up that gold brad that I've used, because I actually don't want, it was so funny, I showed this sample card to Noah last night and he's like, but how do you make it spin? Because I had covered up the brad so he couldn't see it. So that's why I said go ahead and use the ugliest brad you have, the one that you know you'll never use on anything else, and have some fun with that because nobody's going to see it. All right, I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on the back of this one and put this down. And so I'm kind of creating like a diagonal across my card. There we go. You make everything better. This one, I think you can get away with big guys, but I'm going to use the minis on this little banner. There we go. So yeah, this Give It a Whirl die set, like even if you never make the whirly card, it has the coolest other dies in it. Having these banners and the circles and the hearts and the stars with all the stitching, like it's so sweet. So we've got that going on. Now we just need a lot more embellishment, and I'm going to do my embellishing with these hearts. This is why I cut out so many hearts, because we're really gonna, I did a word diagonal that way. We're gonna do a heart diagonal the other way. And I think just like that. So those can get glued down, popped up, whatever you want to do. I think I'm going to pop mine up just because that's the kind of mood I'm in. So these mini ones go on well with mini dimensionals. And then the big ones, you can use 2 minis, one on each side, or 1 big one right in the center, which is I think what I'm going to do. Just 1 big dimensional right in the middle. There we go. I just used the 2 minis on that top one because it had to, I needed to leave a space there for the brad. All right. Oh, thank you, Jacqueline. Yeah, it's a good color combo. All right. Here we go. Pop that up there. And then if you like just a tad bit more bling on your card, we can grab any of your favorite embellishments. I want to kind of keep with the color scheme and don't have anything else that's really going to go with this right now. So that means rhinestones, of course. And so I'm just popping them in between my hearts. Sometimes, oh, that one went on a heart. That's okay too. And pop that over there. And I think I need 1 more, and this should be good. All right, so there we go, a little bit of bling on there. Oh, thanks, Louise. And then our finishing touch, we can write in this because it's Coastal Cabana and it's fairly light, but we had the extra piece. We had a 2-inch strip that got cut off before we die cut this. So I actually cut it in half. So it's a 1-inch strip, and I'm just going to glue it down onto this piece of white and add it to the inside of our card so that we have a little bit of decoration on. Guys, it kills me not to use that rainbow side, but I will on other cards. We get so much, 4 sheets of each paper in that pack, so lots that I can create with. There we go. So just glue that 1-inch strip there. And flip this over, and we'll glue it into our card so that we have a finished up card. There we go. And then I'll probably go and add a few of those little stars onto my envelope before I get it ready to send out. There we go. All right, perfect timing on this card as well. I'm just finishing up as I can hear my parents arriving. Yay. All right, so here we go. There's our little card. So you're just like cookies. You make everything better or spin it around. I think chocolate's my favorite this morning. I haven't had any. So you're just like chocolate, you make everything better. So that's my card. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And I hope you have some fun. If you have this die, I'd love to see what you've created with it. And if you don't have it, add it to your wish list. And remember that starting on January 4th, you can order from our new January to June mini catalog and from our Sale-a-bration selection, which is just fabulous. If you don't have a catalog yet, give me a shout and I will get one to you. I have mailed out my catalogs to most of my regular customers. I have like 4 more, I think, today that I'm hand delivering as I'm out and about in town. But if you didn't get one, message me, find out if you're on my route today or if you want me to pop one in the mail for you. All right, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. I probably won't be on again before Christmas. My parents arrived in town yesterday, so we are going to spend some family time, do a bunch of family stuff, and enjoy seeing them. It's been a while. And I will be back on for sure next Wednesday morning for my regular Facebook Live. Have a great holiday, everyone. Bye.